Okay, an hour left to go in the show on this Wednesday, live from Cancun, Mexico, and the Sands Music Event, Festival, Resort, whatever it is. We're at Planet Hollywood. All right, so here with me now, these singers are always problematic, as we all know.
That's right. That's what you say to the singers. You say the guitarists are always problematic,
exactly.
as we all know.
Exactly, but the singers are spot on. And the guitar players are punctual as usual, and that would be that would be Vernon Reid, who's sitting in front of me without his singer, who's not. Is Cory usually the late guy?
No, not at all. Cory's actually very timely. This is pretty unusual. You know what I mean? I mean, Cory's he's actually remarkably timely for a lead vocalist.
Well, you got a lucky one then. You got a guy that's give you no headaches,
much.
No real headaches.
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say he doesn't give me any real headaches.
Well, I just saw your tour manager Julian walk back and forth, so he's wrangling. It looks like, so we'll probably get Cory in here any minute,
any second now. He'll contradict anything I have to say. You can count on it.
I've said you guys should have a reality show or something. There really should be.
Yeah, well, we have a dynamic. We have a kind of toxic big brother, little brother. It's pretty well, because I don't have, I have two sisters. I have two younger sisters, and everybody else in Living Color. I mean, really, all of the other cats, right? They all have older brothers. You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer in birth order and family dynamics having a massive impact on what people do.
What was your relationship? What was your relationship like with Cory? Like the minute you met him, like out of the gate, was it that kind of thing?
No, it was. He seemed like such a nice person. No, when I met him, I mean, I've told the story oftentimes. It was really because of my middle sister, who insisted I go to this party, and Cory he sang Happy Birthday, and I said, man, you have a nice voice. And then, at that point, Living Color was kind of a trio, kind of a power trio. And I'm just I'm a natural shoegazer. I get very self-conscious.
Oh, wait, be careful what you say, because he's walking in right now behind you.
He's gonna come in with all his brio.
He's already. You let him get a head start on you, Cory.
I said nothing but nice things about you.
Sit down.
What did I say? Did I say what did I say about
some level on Cory? Cory, talk.
I'm good. What did you
First
do?
thing I said.
What did you do? I said normally you're very timely.
Oh, normally.
Normally,
this is a very abnormal. No.
This is an
compliment.
No.
It's a very backhanded.
This is an abnormal.
I'm just going to get out of the way.
No.
Abnormal.
What is negative about that? Excuse me. What's negative? I said normally. This is an abnormal circumstance. I was saying that it's not normal.
I said, Cory, I said to him, because we were just busting balls because you're a couple minutes behind him, and I said, usually, it's usually always the singers, right? You're always waiting on the singers. And he, to his defense, he said, no. He said, Cory's actually really good. This is unusual. He goes, I never had any problems. So wait, I said to him, so Cory's not a headache? He goes, well, I never said that.
See? I'm just saying. We're rolling. We're
live. We're live right now.
We're live.
We've been live.
We've been live for a very long time.
For a very long time. I was just saying that part of our dynamic is a younger brother, older brother dynamic, because I didn't have an older brother. And everybody else that's been in Living Color has had an older brother. And they've all had older brothers that also did the very thing that they do. Right? So, well, actually, I don't think Doug's older brother's an actor. He's not a bassist, but Muzz's older brother's a bassist. Will's older brother's also a drummer.
Oh, Will's brother plays as well.
Will's brother was a drummer. My brother was a singer. My sister was an actress, so I became both. So yeah.
So all of the things. So of course I walked into this situation completely unarmed. I had no idea what I was dealing with. Right? I had no idea what I was dealing with.
But your level of giving shit is minuscule to what we've been through. What we've been through as the younger brothers of these people.
So then you said, "Oh, we got to jump. We're gonna run the table with this guy."
Oh my gosh! I told him, Cory. I said, somebody should cast a reality show on you guys. I mean, it should be approached.
It would be. I've been thinking about that, and I was like, who in the world would play Will Calhoun? That's what I want to know.
You know what? Dig that hole, brother.
I'm not shit. Yahya Abdul Mateen II as Will Calhoun.
That would be funny.
There could be Living Color could be a subject for a good biopic.
Well, we are talking about a documentary.
It should be.
In fact, we are making plans now to do a documentary directed by W. Kamau Bell.
Oh, nice.
And produced by Brad Lichtenstein, who won an Emmy this year for when Claude got shot. So we have a team that's assembling, and it is serious. So
is it going to be titled 6 albums in 38 years?
Wow, that's why you're not going to be in charge of titling.
I couldn't resist. Where's the next record, man? What's going on? It's been 4 or 5 years.
I know.
And Corey's just shaking his head.
We don't like making records. We don't. You know why? Because when we make a record, it's the lowest degree of that song. By the time we play it 4 or 5 times, it's already changed. So to make a song that's going to basically metamorphosize at some point in less than a week after we recorded it makes no sense to me. It's like, this is not the song we recorded. So if you listen to whatever, Someone Like You, the way we recorded it and the way we played it, 2 different songs.
Well, different bands have different philosophies. Like, I still want to make our next record in a very compressed amount of time. Unfortunately, because COVID, the way COVID came in to our situation, it shifted our plan. So we're still on track.
Have you recorded stuff?
We've written a lot of stuff. We've written a ton of stuff.
Demo it?
No. That requires us to go into a studio, put it, then turn on a machine.
Not really. The way people make records now, they're doing them in their bedroom, sending files around.
You can just send parts around. That is true.
I mean, most artists I talk to love getting in a room and looking at each other. I can't say that's the case for you but.
We don't mind.
If we could be quiet while we're doing it, yeah, it'd be great. But we can't do that. There's no way. There's no way.
You know what? I'll tell you one thing about this band, band. We're not the band. Well, I should
say it. Go ahead. Strike the match.
I was about to put my foot all in it, and one thing when you get older, you realize I'm about to put my foot in it. Let me just step back and taste. So I'm gonna step back.
Come on, Kanye, do your thing.
Really? You dare to invoke the name? Come on, the name.
Oh my God!
What? Yeah, what's up with your boy? What's up with your boy?
By the way,
suddenly he gets me.
Do you guys know him?
No, because Will and Doug know him actually.
Oh, is that right?
They worked with him when they were working with. They were doing Blackjack Johnson with
Mos Def.
Mos, yeah.
You know what's funny? I will say this though. Doug was the first one to say, "Yo, there's this producer kid. Everyone's gonna hear about."
Doug Wimbish, your bass player.
Doug Wimbish was the first one to mention Kanye West's name.
I saw a documentary on. Speaking of docs, there's a 3-part documentary on him on Netflix.
I saw that.
That I watched the whole thing, and I'm a rock guy. The music's not my thing, but. I was really intrigued by it and his story of perseverance to get to where he got to. Now, obviously, there's crazy shit happening right now with what's going on with him. But I was purely from a perseverance standpoint, I had no idea that he was a guy that was just looked at as writer, producer, but could never be the guy. Could never be the front guy, and that he was like signed, and they wouldn't even put his record out because they didn't feel he could be the guy. They just looked at him as like, oh, you can make the beats and produce,
right? And
how he had to sell people that I could be the front man guy,
right?
And I thought that was a really interesting thing. I thought that doc was really compelling, whether you're into that, into that style of music or not. I thought it was real interesting.
Yeah. He's a problematic guy. I consider myself
certainly
a
right
fan,
now.
and then now the things that he's been doing has just been like, what's going on? And then, the whole aspect of his very public situation with mental illness,
Right.
and how that's, he's claiming that's a superpower, and then people are like, well, that's no excuse, but then at the same time, he actually is going through a thing, and that's real, and
What's that expression? I've seen the greatest minds of our era destroyed by their own celebrity, basically.
Is that the quote?
No, it's not, but it's mine.
Could just put Corey Glover under that quote.
It's mine now.
So I want to pick up on something that you mentioned before, because now we've seen each other now 2 years in a row here.
Yes.
Because we actually did exactly this just about exactly a year ago at this exact event, different resort, but you were part of it. And going into that, I did not get a chance, when we did the interview last time and you guys came by, I hadn't seen you play yet, because you then played later that night or the next day. I don't remember when it was.
It was the next day, yeah.
But I went to see you, of course, and watched the whole show, and I was floored by it. And I was not the only one floored by it. The promoter of this event, Steve Robinson, was so floored by it that after your performance, he came up to me and said he never brings bands back 2 years in a row. He always changes, sits out for a year or two. He says, I'm bringing them back next year. That's how much they love the show. He loved the show. I love the show. But something you touched on, Corey, when you talk about how Living Color music changes and evolves from live to studio or whatever, it had been a while since I saw you guys, because it might have been at a festival. I caught a song or two. I had a run, one of those things. But sat there and watched the full show like I did. And I noticed that on stage, like you guys take this music live into a lot of different directions. Is that what you're talking about, Corey, when you say about how things change?
We're very much, there's an evolution with songs, and we're not afraid to toot my own horn. We're not afraid to go where it's not supposed to and to see exactly what's going to happen with it. Vernon's idea of sonics and Doug's real sort of expansive way of dealing with things in the context of a song gives you so many possibilities. And that from night to night, it can change because, Vernon decided to change a sound on his rig, and the whole song takes on a different sort of motif, which is great. So we need that.
How planned is that, though, Vern? I mean, is that spontaneous to the point right while you're on stage, or you discuss it with the other guys beforehand?
Well, you know what? I tell you, it's funny because rock and roll music, broadly, and certainly in terms of metal, hard rock, let's say, there are two very distinct camps. There's this distinct camp where it's like classical music, where it's going to be exactly the same. In other words, if you're going to go see Comfortably Numb, David Gilmour is going to play the Comfortably Numb solo. He's not going to do that much variation because it's canonical. It's part of the music of the thing. The other strain is it's going to be totally different. It's going to be whatever it's going to be, and that's kind of a more improvising thing. It's like Hendrix, on a level. He's going to do a different thing. It's like, Eddie Van Halen was going to play different stuff. You know what I mean? So, we're kind of more in the latter camp of improvising and finding a different meaning inside of the tunes.
But improvising to the point, are you are you the one leading that, and do the other three guys know that that's happening, or is that coming from Doug or Will or what?
The thing is, we've kind of it's like almost kind of a co-evolution inside of these tunes. I mean, that's really what's happened. Like we'll try something like we'll do Type, and then we threw in this reggae tune. You know what I mean? Police and Thieves. And sometimes when we don't have enough time to do it, we don't do it. Other times when we have more time, we do. You know what I mean? Sometimes we've thrown different intros. We've done everything from Papa Was a Rolling Stone to No, No, No. We've done a bunch of different types of intros. I was playing the theme. I've been lately playing the theme to Star Trek, the old version, in front of desperate people. So these are different things that we do because you want to have fun with it because we're playing a lot of these tunes we've played for a really long time.
But my question is that, in other words, when are you playing here? Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
So tomorrow, going into tomorrow's show, do all four of you guys know when you play a song what it's going to be, or is that happening spontaneously in the moment?
Oh no, we make a set list. I mean,
but where are you going to what changes you're going to do to the song? The improv part of it, is it improv to the point that
none of us know?
Nobody knows. It's literally going to happen on stage in the moment.
Well, I'll tell you what. the basic form of the songs stays, the basic form of it stays the same. But what happens within what that is can be different things can happen. Like I could play a lick and Corey could follow it or what have you. But like a song like, say Ignorance is Bliss, right? Ignorance is Bliss is one of a song that's very kind of malleable. It's got a vibe to it, and different things can happen within it because of the nature of the song. A song like, say, Open Letter to a Landlord, I mean, that is a space for transformation. Really, we set the tone, and then wherever Corey goes with it, that's where it flows to. That's kind of where it flows to. But the verse and the chorus, all those things are still there. The melodies are there, but depending on the feeling, it can expand or it can contract. I mean, we've played Landlord where it's turned the whole space into a tent revival. You know what I mean? And those are the kind of things. But see, a song like Cult, I don't play the same solo. I don't play the Cult solo that's on the record. I did that one time. I do little bits of it. There are things that I like from that solo that I put in. But in terms of doing the exact same thing, I wouldn't even think of it.
You mentioned Type, which is one of my favorites, and I love that riff in that song and the whole groove to that song. But when I saw you guys play it last time, you definitely changed some stuff up in that.
It's probably fast as hell.
It's fast. It's so fucking fast. It's ridiculous.
Punk. It's really punk. We play kind of, but it's
That's what I mean. Like,
it's fun.
You hear, like, and every now and then I hear some stuff on the radio, and I go, we never played it like that. Even like we recorded it like that, but we've never played it like. We have never played Middleman the way it's recorded.
Oh, actually, that's really true. That's really true. Because actually, Middleman is a great example in that when I listen to Middleman and the way we played it, I mean, there was a way we played it in the clubs, and then there's the way we played it when Ed Stasium produced it.
Right.
But things like the bridge, it's very different now. It's very different. And there's a series of chords I play, but sometimes I can arpeggiate those chords by doing a kind of a tapped arpeggio.
More nerd shit. Go on.
Yeah. Right.
Corey, do you like as the singer in the band? Do you like this aspect of the band? I love that. I love it. I love being surprised, and I also love that I can throw stuff in, and it's not that it's unexpected, but that they can roll with it. Like if I stop and go on some sort of tangent like I do in Open Letter to a Landlord, they can flow with it. If Will throws in something rhythmically that I wasn't expecting, but I can roll with it. And that's the nature of the band, and I think that's what keeps it fresh for us. I think that's what keeps it keeps an audience on their toes. It's like we're not playing that song the way you heard it. This is not a nostalgia trip. We're moving forward.
Right. That's the other thing too. We're not phoning it in. Like it's very much a dynamic when we play. We're being inspired by each other. We're really being inspired by each other to engage with the music and engage with the audience, as opposed to a lot of times you'll see bands and it's almost like pretending to have a good time, right? Pretending to have a good time versus having a good time. Right. It's two different things, right? Because there's the show, right? You throw shapes and you pretend to do things and you kind of, rock your guitar side by side and that's an act, and that can be very effective. It's well done. It's very entertaining. Like ZZ Top, one of the great shows is ZZ Top. Like it's amazing how coordinated and how loose the music is and how coordinated the stage show is. It's deep. Yeah.
Because Billy just plays whatever he feels, but he's like, it's like. But they're gonna do the thing with the guitars, and they're gonna do the steps and all that other stuff. It's like the Temptations doing blues music.
It's true, and Billy, and Billy is he's just so slick. You know what I mean? Like he's old. When you watch him, he's just so in command of his presentation and his vibe, and he's carved it down to like this essential movements, and it's so dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a craft to that really works and is very satisfying.
I want to ask you,
It can be.
you talk about changing some stuff up and how you guys do this, and of course your biggest song, Cult of Personality. I just had Steve Vai on the show a few weeks ago, and I talked with Steve a lot about you guys and about him getting up with you recently and doing that new version of Cult.
Right.
So that happened in Brazil, right?
Happened in Brazil, yeah, and with Steve, I mean, the maestro, you know, he's like obviously one of the GOATs, you know. Yeah. And he's from the very top has been a big supporter of the band, and you know, I met him when Hendrix was getting his star on the Walk of Fame. Okay. You know, was getting his star on the Walk of Fame, and since then, you know, he's such a not just a master, but he's such a kind person, and our interactions with him, because you know, a person like Steve has many different relationships with many different kinds of people. You know what I mean? He's also a cat that'll play with the orchestra. He's done all these different things. Yeah. With us, he's just a brother musician, and part of the reason we, you know, the kind of closest we have with him was that we used to do the Experience Hendrix tours, and we were all on the same bus, and we after a while, you know, all of that stuff, you just become friends. You know what I mean? You just are able to say whatever to this person, and they can say whatever to you, and that's the beauty of it. When it's not like Mr. Vibe, you know, it's not like the Mr. Vibe vibration. It's not. That's not. It's like Stevie. You know what I mean? It's, right. And he is a beast. And the thing is, whenever we play together, it's always been lovely. You know, I have that same experience with Joe Satriani. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Who taught Vi? Which is crazy.
Oh yeah. You know, and you know, they've just been musicians in the game that have been wonderful to us, that we have a simpatico with, Santana, Robert Fripp, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. There are people that have come and they really hear what we've been talking about, what we're doing musically, and they get it.
Steve's a great guy. I mean, you're right. He's one of the GOATs, but he's also just such an approachable, great guy. That's always, you know, that's always just, you know, even, I mean, I went to see him once. I don't know if I told you guys this. Some of the guys from Seven Dust were in the audience too, and we're all sitting there. And Steve, about an hour and a half into the show, goes up to the microphone. And he goes, "I got a friend here that I want to invite up on stage." And I'm looking around, and you know, a couple of Seven Dust guys are there, Lejean or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna call up Seven Dust and do a jam. It's gonna be cool." And he goes, "I want to bring up my friend Eddie Trunk." What the fuck? So I'm like. I get up there and he's like, "Come up here, Eddie, come up here." I get up on stage and I'm like, he goes, "We're going to write a song together." And I go, "Steve, I don't play anything. I yap for a living, man. I can't play a note of anything." He goes, "You're going to still write a song." And on stage in front of, I don't know, 3,000 people or whatever, he takes me through this exercise, like, hum a riff to me. And he's chunking it out and he's playing it. It was one of the most crazy moments ever. And then he called up the Seven Dust guys. And, you know, they got up and jammed a little bit on the song that we, quote unquote, wrote. And it was amazing. And then I went back in the audience and I sat there and watched him talk about free-forming it out and figuring it out, just developing into a song. So to this day, I bust his balls about it. I go, "When am I seeing my publishing?
Yeah.
What's my writer's cut on that, Steve?"
Man. Yeah, absolutely.
But he's a great guy. Now talk about, like, when I saw the clip, because there's video of him up on stage with you in Brazil. It was Rock in Rio.
Yeah.
So it looked like a massive audience. Talk about that gig in general. Do you guys have a huge audience there?
Pretty big, and it was also the occasion of our 30th anniversary of first coming to the country as a band. So it was, and that first time was the first time of first Doug Wimbish appearance with us was back, you know, back in the day. So it was a very special occasion, and we do have a sizable audience in Brazil and in Argentina as well.
And so, a lot of South America is still very much on the Living Color train with us, which is good.
And did Steve come in just to do that, or was he also playing on the bill that day?
No, he was our special guest.
He was our special guest.
So you brought it, that was a planned thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So so what he did with you, Vern, on guitar in that song, I'm assuming you guys worked that out in advance, or that you winged it in front of.
Well, we did rehearse. That's true, but
imagine that.
And then we got on stage, and things went the way they went, but it still went really well.
We love our accidents.
Right.
We really dig our accidents. Our accidents really create things like, okay, I missed my cue, but I'm gonna come in here, which is not where it was supposed to be, and it turns into something completely different. And we go with it. Just the fact that you're open to the experience is all we really care about.
Yeah, the thing that was so great about it too is that Steve just went with it, and really to anyone, it was totally planned. But it was kind of like we were supposed to go back and forth in the solo, and what wound up happening was I did the first part of the solo, and then he did the second part, because I was like, oh snap, because I was so caught up. I was like, wait a minute, he was supposed to come in. And so we got to the bridge, and then he took over the solo from the bridge.
Right.
So it worked out incredibly well. You know, we both played an equal amount, but we played in different. We were supposed to alternate, and instead of alternating, we alternated. So, but it worked out.
Because there's an actual studio recording of it with him now too,
Yes.
or is
Yeah,
that
there is.
So
There
in
is.
that, the thing I noticed too is the riff is so iconic in that song, obviously. But because there's some interplay with Steve within the riff, isn't there? Is there something in the riff like where you're both playing? It sounds a little different to me.
Well, I think it's a little different in the how we did the version with
Right.
him, because I don't know that we did him playing the riff with me on the recorded version. When we played live, we played the riff.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got a couple people on the phone that want to hit you with a question before we run out of time. They've been waiting a long time, so let me let them get in here real quick. And this is Dave in St. Louis. Hey, Dave, you're on with Vernon and Cory. Go ahead.
Hey, Eddie, thanks for taking my call. And Cory and Vernon, it's great to talk to you guys. And I just need to preface my question for you real quick for Eddie and the audience, and letting everybody know that in St. Louis, we have this killer Pink Floyd tribute band called El Monstero that's been around for over 25 years. And and much to my surprise, this past summer, their opening act was Living Color, the first time they ever had a national act open for them. And I know they came out, and Living Color came out and killed it. And, of course, the El Monstero guys came out, and then at various times Living Color played with them as well. And I just was kind of curious, how did you guys get affiliated, or did you even know about El Monstero? Or how the promoter bring it up to you? How did you get involved with that?
I think they were fans, and they just made an inquiry to our agent, and then our agent presented it to us, and then it's really is a phenomenon in St. Louis. Like it's a
tribute band to Pink Floyd that's St. Louis based.
St. Louis based, and they play The Wall, the album, and the concept of The Wall
with the production, with the Wall,
with the production.
Yeah. And they played they played Dark Side of the Moon too.
Why do they keep it relegated to St. Louis? Like something that big, you'd think would kind of start touring, right? Because there's like that Australian Pink Floyd show, which does freaking arenas.
Right.
It's kind of weird that they keep it that regional. No,
we don't know. I don't. We
you
don't
know
know
what though? It's a beautiful. You know, when you have to experience it, because they do a version of "Wish You Were Here," and they have a wall of remembrance, and people in the audience submit like friends, family, and even pets of people that have passed. And during "Wish You Were Here," they show a montage of people, and the thing you realize is everyone that you see has passed on, and it's incredibly moving. Like I was on the side of the stage, I was watching it, and I started like some of the photographs, and then you see someone's cat, someone's dog,
right?
You see like obvious childhood friends, siblings, spouses. It's pretty powerful, and it does something. it does something different than I've ever seen at a Pink Floyd show. I mean, it's like it's incredibly moving. So I totally get, why it's a phenomenon in that town.
What's the band called again?
El Monstero.
El Monster. I've never heard of this. I mean, I've heard of Pink Floyd tributes that are really huge. It's crazy, man. You guys know this too from touring. You go around the country, you look at a House of Blues marquee or something, upcoming acts. Every one of them is a tribute act. Every other one, I should say, is a tribute act.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy the business some of these guys build up. So it's amazing to see, to see what's happening with some of that. Okay, here is JC, who's in New York, who's on with us. Hey, JC, go ahead for Vernon Cory.
Hey guys, enjoy Cancun. What time is it there? Are you 1 hour behind Eastern?
Well, 1 hour.
An hour behind New York, yeah.
Okay, very good. Anyway, I just want to say get well to Florence Jansen. I love her. She was going to be my replacement singer when she took over for Tarja. So good luck, Florence.
I mentioned that earlier, yeah.
Yeah. Corey, well, hi
Yes.
both of you. Anyway, Vernon, are you a
Never mind.
huge guitar connoisseur? Do you? Because he just talked to Slash, and Slash has like hundreds and hundreds. I was just wondering if you have a warehouse full of guitars. And
I
guys,
don't have
keep rocking.
I don't have a warehouse, but I do love the guitars that I have, and I'm actually more. I just like guitars that I like. I'm not like a vintage. I like old guitars from time to time, but I like custom. I like. I actually just acquired a guitar. You can see on Instagram a guitar called Irwin by Michael King, who actually is a luthier from St. Louis, and he built this thing, and it was based on our mutual love of '60s sci-fi, like Time Tunnel. And it's inspired by, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Steve McSwain out of Portland, Oregon, who built my guitar Tuskegee, which is dedicated to the Tuskegee Airmen. And it's a brilliant, brilliant instrument. And of course, I've had a signature model with Paul Reed Smith. And I carry my old Hamers, my old black and white Hamer, Yin Yang. I've given the guitars names and whatnot. So yeah, so I don't have a whole warehouse, but I have a very cool collection of guitars.
Do you still have that ESP?
The ESP from the Cult of Personality video, the guitar I wrote that riff on is now currently at the Smithsonian. It's in the African American Cultural Museum.
Wow.
And it's going to be part of their collection.
Wow, that's
artifacts.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really a great honor. And I want to give a shout out to Matt Masciandero over at ESP, because we did a Colt 86 tribute guitar that went out there. And one thing that called from New York, make sure you make it to our Halloween extravaganza.
What do you got? Tell us about
We're
it.
doing a Halloween show over at City Winery.
Okay.
And it's going to be pretty fun. Our special guest is going to be Martha Redbone, Captain Kirk Douglas from The Roots. DJ Logic is going to spin.
Full on show, like it's not.
Well, it's going to be our show, but we're doing slightly different. Bring it out slightly different.
Living Color and Friends.
Living Color and Friends.
And it's actually on Halloween night on Monday.
It's on Halloween.
So it's like a few days away.
Yeah,
a few days away.
City Winery in New York.
Mr. Paul Schaefer's going to fall through. Mr. V. Jeff Smith, Mr. J.S. Williams. It's going to be a party. And please come in your cosplay. Please come costumed. There will be a contest.
And there
That nobody will win. Just don't worry about it. Just come dressed up. Just come dressed
what's
up.
the prize?
What are you going to win? What are they going to win? What are they going to win?
A kiss from Corey.
Kiss my ass. What are they going to win?
We're going to be things. There'll be bottles of wine customized.
Our mutual. Something else that we should mention, our mutual friend Earl Douglas sent me a text when he heard you were coming on.
Yes.
And told me that he wanted to make sure you guys mentioned, or me to ask you about a BRC Curtis Mayfield thing,
Absolutely.
Symphony Space. Tell us what that is.
That's the week after.
It's right. It's on
November 5th.
November 5th. Yes, we're going to be celebrating the music of the great Curtis Mayfield. And we're going to be playing If There's Hell Below, We're All Going to Go, which is so apropos looking at you. If there's hell below, we're all
May the fires of hell lick your asshole so hard. I just don't care about you or anything about you.
By the way, this is Vernon and Cory talking to each other. They're not saying this to me. Just
No, not at all.
Do you understand that?
There's hell.
Do you understand?
We're all
Do you get it?
gonna go.
Do you get it?
What's a long bus ride like on the road with Living Color? What's it like on that bus?
Retire to your bunk. Get to the lounge.
Who gets the back bunk?
Who gets the?
Does the singer usually singer?
I'm not in the back lounge. I can't stand the back lounge. I like a bunk. I like the coffin-like spaces.
You do?
of a bunk. Yes.
See, I get claustrophobic.
No, it's like, this is good. This is good. It's closed. I'm on the bottom bunk. I want to hear the wheels turning, and it knocks me right out.
Speaking of the coffin, be sure to come to our Halloween.
Stop it!
Let me get another call in from New York, actually. This is Scott. Maybe he's going to your Halloween show. Maybe he just learned about it. But, Scott, you're on with Vernon and Cory.
Hey, guys. I have more of like a memory or something maybe you can talk about. Is back in around 1988, you guys played the University of Buffalo Spring Fest. And
yes, we did. It was cold
I went to that show to see the Ramones actually headline it. And you guys came out, and we hadn't heard of you. And we've been fans ever since, and it's a great to be able to ask you to comment on that show, or maybe those times when you were like, kind of getting going and maybe playing the college circuit back
We
then.
drove up there in a van from New York City to Buffalo in a van for like 8-10 hours.
This is what bands do.
Sure.
Isn't it?
I know, but it was the four of us. This was Muzzy's still in the band. This is the four of us driving from New York, and each
Buffalo's a long ride. Buffalo's a long ride.
And we were taking, Ian was there, but some of us were taking turns driving, and that was not good. That wasn't good.
I'll tell you what. I think when I think back, I think about, they renamed a street Joey Ramone Way, and I think back with a great deal of affection towards Joey Ramone, and he's just a great dude, and a great rocker and a great person, and he is missed. And he reached out to me to play on Cabbies on Crack, and it was, man, that was such a great time. And so when I think about the Ramones, I really think about Joey a lot.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate the call. I mean, you guys talking about driving in that weather or whatever. I just always takes me back to the time when you guys did my TV show, that metal show.
Oh, my God.
It was the
that
only
show.
episode we ever did in 100 episodes and whatever with no audience because nobody could get there because it was a massive snowstorm. If you guys saw that episode, Vernon and Cory were on. And thankfully, everybody booked that day lived in the New York City area.
Right.
So it was the only way we could get the taping in. But even so, it was treacherous as hell. I was just coming from Jersey 40 miles away, and it took me 3 hours. Yeah. And I'm like, my producer, I'm like, are we really shooting this today? He's like, well, there ain't going to be any audience, but we're getting cars out to Vernon and Cory. We're doing, I forget who the guitar player was in the stands. It might have been Joel Hoekstra.
Joel Hoekstra. Yes,
who's in Whitesnake now.
Badass.
And Joel also lives in New York. So we got lucky by coincidence because if people were flying in, there was no way. And it was the only time we ever did it where those bleachers we had were totally empty because we couldn't get audience.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Well, welcome to, that was just a little preview of our climate change present.
Yeah, it was crazy that day. Here's Steve in Kentucky. Hey, Steve, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Great to hear you guys talk. Got a couple things real quick. Saw you guys open up for the Stones on Steel Wheels. That was awesome. I'd like to hear some about that. And Vernon, I've been playing guitar for 40 years, and you're an inspiration. And thank you for all that. But what I really called to say was I caught the Rock in Rio performance on YouTube. And Cory, you are the man. In the words of, listen to the people that are our age that are still doing this, your voice is fantastic. And I appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, one thing I remember about that Stones tour was never play Bill Wyman any parlor game.
Was that right?
Bill Wyman was a total shark. You played him any of those, play him table tennis, Darts, you could forget about it. You could forget.
Was that one of Bill's last tours with the band?
Yeah.
It was probably like not much longer after that before he was done, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. He was treacherous at all of that. Like they had a snooker table, they had a pool, they had a snooker table, they had a regulation pool table, they had table tennis, they had darts, and he was ridiculous.
And Cory, as a singer,
Yeah.
it is amazing what you still can do vocally, because you do see guys as they get older fall off a little bit. What is your regimen as a singer? What's your approach? I talk to singers who have big warm-up, warm-down routines, all these things they do, and others that just walk right out there and do it and don't do anything. What do you do?
It's a little bit of both. My rule of thumb for most of it is as much as you work is as much as you rest, because you're, as a singer, you're somewhat of an athlete because your whole body has to work. So, in order to sing, so you can do an hour-long warm-up and a half-hour warm-down. But if you can rest your voice for double the amount of time that you were singing, if you're singing for 2 hours, rest your voice for 4 hours. If you're gonna, that includes your warm-up. If you are, doing one song, you're doing a recording session and you're only doing one song, make sure that your voice is warmed up enough, but give yourself enough time between takes to be able to, for your body to recover to do whatever it is you needed to do.
Have you ever had vocal issues?
Only I've had like colds, and if I have a cold or if I have something like that, I've lost my voice. I've worn my voice out. We've done shows where I could not do the show, and other people came up. We were playing somewhere in Vermont, and I had lost my voice completely. Like I could not get a note out of my out. And the audience came up and sang all the songs for me.
Well, yeah, a guy came up and sang "Love Raises Its Ugly Head."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cory's voice is remarkable.
Yeah, it truly is, man. It really is, and it's amazing to not have.
He's gaslighting me. Don't let him do it.
You know what's really remarkable about Cory's voice?
Your mic twisted there, Vern.
Sure. See, because you're telling lies. That's why.
there it is there.
So you know what's really remarkable about Cory Glover's voice is that he can talk as much smack as he does right before going on stage. That's what's remarkable.
Let me get one more call in here, and then we're going to run out of time. I got to let you guys go before this band implodes right in front of me. Here's Sean in Connecticut. Hey, Sean, go ahead.
I got to warm up before I talk to Cory.
Nice.
Hey, a couple things. Vernon, I was at a show, at the Neville Brothers show at the Warfield in San Francisco in 1989. And you and Carlos Santana came up and took that show into the stratosphere for like the last 40 minutes. Insane. So just, I'll never forget that. Also, never forget seeing you guys at Central Connecticut State University right after you guys hit. And congratulations. That's by far the loudest show I've ever been at. It was unbelievable. Louder than Van Halen, louder than punk shows I've seen in little clubs. But
was it louder than Manowar? That's the benchmark. They were in the Guinness Book of World Records.
You've got my world record, guys. Amazing. Amazing. But it was tremendous. And there was what I want to ask you is there was a great band that opened for you in New Britain, Connecticut that night. The Good Guys,
St. Louis.
And we loved them.
Oh yeah,
no, they're from Virginia.
I can't believe they didn't hit. Like whatever happened to that band? Do you know?
Good Guys.
The Good Guys?
Yeah.
Good Guys.
Man.
Yeah, they had horns and stuff. They were a little like Fishbone, but harder.
Yeah.
It's you guys don't know.
Band.
You guys don't know what happened to him. Sorry, buddy. Sorry if he cut you off there. But yeah, I mean, you don't know. I mean, it was a long time ago. So right, you don't know what happened to him. Look him up. Google. That's what Google's about.
Yeah.
So guys, before we run out of time, I got like 5 minutes here. I want things to talk about coming up. The Halloween show, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
The Curtis Mayfield gig. Now that's in New York as well.
Yes, that's in New York at Symphony Space. At Symphony Space, also Mike Doty from Soul Coughing, he's actually doing a residency in Williamsburg, and I believe at the Williamsburg Music Hall, and it's going to be different people sitting in, and I'm going to be sitting with him on the 27th, Sunday the 27th.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, as far as Living Color stuff coming up beyond the gig here in Cancun, do you have more Living Color gigs, or is that next year? What are we looking at?
There are a few things coming up in the works. There's nothing concrete just yet. I don't know how much we can talk about doing. We're doing the 80s cruise. I know that's sort of competition to the 80s in the Sand. We're doing the 80s cruise in March. That's definitely happening.
We're talking about doing some shows with Extreme. Coming.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's where we're but those are gonna be in Australia, New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah, and then other things that are gonna be coming up.
I see Extreme all the time, and I know those guys. I see them play live all the time, and their manager's a good friend of mine, and they're just amazing live, man. With Nuno and that whole rhythm section and Gary. Nuno's a monster, as everyone knows. It's crazy. It's crazy how good they are. That'd be a great bill, the two of you guys. That'd be really cool. Individually, Vern, you mentioned a couple things. Cory, you had you were doing that band with George Lynch last time I talked to you.
Ultraphonics.
Ultraphonics. Is that still a thing or no?
Not really. I don't see it really becoming. It's going any further. We may make another record, but I don't think we're ever going to tour.
And then you had Disciples of Verity, which was a metal thing.
Yeah, it's like this prog metal thing I was doing with some Jersey guys, from some of the guys from Negative Sky, and for those of you Jersey bands. So we did that. We worked on some stuff last month, actually. We went to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to work with Sahaj Tikatan.
Oh, okay. From Rock? From Rock. Yeah. And Sweetwater's there. Did you go to Sweetwater?
We went to Sweetwater.
Yeah.
So we're working on a new record, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, cool. Yeah. And Vern, anything else you thinking about doing maybe another solo record or something?
I am. It's been it's a bit it's been long planned, long overdue, but it's the process has begun, and right now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on just the president to approve some tracks I sent, and then
the president of what?
I was going to say Joe Biden.
No, president of Mascot Records.
Oh, okay, the president of your label.
The president of label, yeah, of Mascot. And
so it's pretty far down the line.
It's far. Yeah,
it's done. The tracks are done, or demos, or
no. Three songs are done, and then I'm going to work. I have the rest of them to record.
Is it going to be instrumental, or you got singers?
It's going to be a combination. It's going to be a combination of instrumental things and songs, and as well as the kind of thing a little bit like what I did with Mistaken Identity, some kind of audio collage type stuff. But the three things actually are like, one is a song. One is a kind of trip hop thing, and the other thing is a guitar instrumental. And the three pieces work really well together, and I'm very excited about it. It's interesting because we're talking about writing, and recently Cory and I have been getting together and writing, and it's funny because so much stuff has happened with the pandemic. And many people did a lot of things during the pandemic, but while going through it, it was hard to process. And not that it's over, but aspects of it, I feel now I'm prepared to write about, talk about, and we're processing all of these different things that have been going on. And now is a time to I feel it now. Now is the time to engage. It's coming. The music, the riffs, the bits are coming out now.
Yeah.
So that's actually very exciting to me because you can go through, you can always write, but you can't always be inspired. And that's the thing because there's a craft to writing. There are people that can write a song about anything. They can write a song about this water in this bottle, right? But there's a different thing to feel inspired and connected to what's happening around you, and I'm feeling that. connection now. So
Corey,
I'm thrilled about that.
Corey, any acting stuff?
No acting, not really. I'm developing a TV show actually. That's actually really centered around young people and music. That I'm hopefully going to get into production at some point and act in that.
Like a scripted show, not a reality show.
Not a reality show. No,
Right.
I live a reality show. I don't need to be in one.
Yeah,
covered that
Say
at the
that
top.
again. Say that again. From your chest.
How far down the line are you with it, Corey?
We've got a bunch of it. A friend of mine from high school and I that it's a good friend of all of ours, Nzinga Clark. I've been writing this for a while, and we're pretty far down the line on it and ready to go. If somebody says yes, we can get it going.
Yeah, that's always the biggest, hardest part. Find somebody to say yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We're at that point right now.
And Vern, real quick, because we're going to run out of time any second here. We mentioned Vi and Satriani and those guys. Have you ever, maybe you've done it and I don't know it, but is there any appeal to you to do like a G3 or any of that sort of stuff? To do a guitar show like that,
Sure. Absolutely.
You wouldn't rule that. I think
I wouldn't rule it out.
It'd be great seeing you do that.
Not at all. I would love to do that.
Hey guys, that music means I got to end. Thank you for doing this. Great to see. I know you could have been out at the pool or at the beach or whatever, but you're sitting here with me, so I appreciate it.
It's air conditioning here.
That's true too. It's the only cool spot in here. I think.
Eddie, you are the emeritus professor of rock, and
thank
it's
you, man.
always
I appreciate
a pleasure
it.
to talk to you, brother.
Thank you so
Vernon,
much, man.
Corey, thank you so much.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to see Living Color wherever you're listening around the country, do it. They are killer. Can't wait to see you guys rock the house tomorrow night. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll be back live tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern time here on Faction Talk 103. One more show coming to you from Cancun and the Sands. We'll talk to you then. Take care. Have a good Wednesday, everybody.
Later.